Good evening, everyone. My name is Liesel, and I have the great privilege and honor to be the hostess and holder of space for tonight's session of Medicine for These Times. I would like to welcome our speakers, our sharers who will each be giving us a homeopathic dose of their medicine and their lifetime calling and exploring and discovering what it is that they can give to us and to the world. So welcome to each and every one of you. Some of you have been my friends for a long time, and some of you have become my friends over the last week. So thank you very much and welcome, and thank you for showing up amidst some challenging times. It is also my great privilege to create a safe and sacred container for the next few hours of us being together. So for the people who will be watching this on YouTube, I ask you to maybe pause the recording and get some water for part of a blessing. I welcome you to that, and I'm glad that you have found your way back to this moment and this place in the ether, and to learn from this wonderful community of medicine people. I also welcome the people who are watching us live. So the way that I've decided to create a space for us tonight is by reminding us about the elements that live within us. So I'll start with the element of air. And each of our speakers and our musician will be working with the element of air. It is a life force, the first element that we encounter when we are born, and it is the last element that leaves our bodies when we die. And to represent this element, I have the feather that I will be displaying behind me. So you are the element of air, and the element of air lives within you. The next element that I would like to call into our presence and into our awareness is the element of earth. And to represent that, I've got this lovely statue with a Romanesco cabbage sticking out of her head to represent the relationship we have between our food and our body. The food we eat is broken up by our digestive system, and it becomes building blocks with which our bones, our cells, our blood, and our brain will be built. We are inextricably linked to this planet Earth and this mother. So your every cell is the earth, and the element of earth lives within you. The next element that I would like to call into our awareness and make you present with in your body is the element of fire. And I have the element of fire represented here. And this fire was made by friction. And we have quite a few people around the world actually tonight who have made fires to hold space for us. The art of cooling down the sun is also another way of referring to friction fires. When you exercise and your body temperature increases, that is the element of fire within you. When you have fever, that is the element of fire within you. It is also your metabolism that is referred to as your hara and your chi and energy. And the Nama word for chi is chi. So I thought that's quite an interesting linguistic link. Chi, ki, and energy. So the fire element lives within you, and you are fire. I would also like to just quote a passage from a book, The Bushman Winter Has Come. And we often learn about elements when they are absent or low. And in this time, we have had winter and we have had power cuts. And we have learned about the absence of heat and power. And this poem goes like this. In my warmed blood, I know how it was at the dawn of time when the early humans first made fire. By the making of the first fire, it was the ignition of the element of light, of life and creation. We became aware of the forces of life and the forces of death by breathing the first flame into being. We expanded our consciousness from Earth to the cosmos and beyond, and we became aware of infinity. So the element of fire is within you, and you are fire. And the next wonderful element that I want to bring into our awareness tonight and into this sacred space is the element of water. And I want to ask you, if you have some water with you, to please put a drop of water in your hand. And I'd like to ask you to close your eyes so I can read you a poem called The Still Water Meditation by Carolyn May. Place a drop of water in the palm of your hand. This drop that you hold is part of the water which was a cradle of life, and it has been here for eons. It first splashed down as rain onto the hot earth and formed the first sea. It has risen through countless ages, and it has fallen to the earth again and again as rain. This drop has been a prism that formed a myriad of rainbows. It has traveled underground in streams and bubbled through caverns and caves. This drop has split granite. The drop that you hold in your hand has flowed down rivers, and it has risen through the sap of trees. It has been the sweat of slaves and the tears of children. It has become the foam of waves and lakes and sea. The drop that you hold in your hand has been part of a great flood. It has been a dewdrop on a blade of grass. It has pounded through the hearts of whales, and it has lain in the egg of an eagle. It has traveled in the fluid of a poet's brain and dripped from the wounds of the dying. This drop that you hold in your hand has been trapped in the snows of the Arctic and reflected the sun in the desert oasis. This drop is unimaginably old and is slowly evaporating from your hand to mingle with the air that you breathe, to drift on a sun-topped cloud 1,000 feet above the earth. Imagine the journey from your hand, where it will go. Direct your consciousness with it. It is the water of life. It is still water. Thank you very much. And lastly, there is the element of ether, that invisible aspect of our lives. And firstly, I'd like to just briefly share with you, there was a few months ago an international medicine music summit, an online event called Canto com Amor. And these had medicine people singing their songs from around the world. And there was a Bolivian grandmother who I don't even think spoke Spanish. She spoke in a local Quechua dialect, and they had to translate. And I don't imagine she'd even seen a laptop. But this grandmother blessed the machines. Los Maquinos. She blessed them because she had the wisdom to know that they could make us pray together and sing together and talk to each other from around the world. So I would like to bless the machines in the ether and the people who can make them work for a force of good. So I'm bringing the names of Ras and Svenja into this space and into this moment, and I want to thank you for making the ether a safe space for us tonight. Another name that I want to drop into the sacred circle is the one of Michelle, who had a vision. And we all have visions. So I want to just honor you, my sister, for making a vision a reality. And another aspect of the ether is the aspect of a calling. All of us are here tonight because we felt in some way called to be here. And sometimes a vision of one person and the calling of another will collide in a co-creation. And I trust that we will all be blessed by this collision. So thank you very much for joining us. I would like to introduce our first speaker, Zendrik van der Merwe. And I have sat around many fires being enchanted by your music. And I feel very grateful to have actually had the opportunity to look at your website. And I was amazed by what you have done in your life. And just a few things that stand out for me is that you said that you were inspired by your mother. So that definitely spoke to me, and that you started this journey at the young age of 21, which is wonderful. It's a fantastic privilege to start uncovering your medicine so young, I think. I also noticed that you were inspired by the Course in Miracles, and that you opened a healing center in Guatemala, which you closed again to travel and to teach. So I've learned quite a bit about you by reading your website, and the website address is the heartofhealing.me. So I also like what you said, Hendrik, that healing comes from within, and healers are the cleaning crew with heart. So that leads me into your title, which is self-love, self-mastery, and the 7 chakras. And as you told me, that is a heart-based space. So thank you. I look forward to learning from you.
Okay, thank you very much for that beautiful introduction. I definitely want to share heart medicine. I was born with a heart defect, and I had open heart surgery as a child. So the heart has definitely been a major teaching for myself, learning through my own heart experiences, and becoming a heart surgeon. As a child, I wanted to be a heart surgeon, and when I started studying healing, I had a dream in which I was back at university studying medicine, and I was going to be a heart surgeon. And I woke up realizing that I was on the right path again. So the title of my talk is The 7 Chakras. And in the convention of the Indian system, we have 7 chakras. So the 7 chakra is really just a convention that we borrow from India, and describes the places of concentration of energy in our energy fields. So different cultures or belief systems describe the energy fields in different ways. And the Tibetans focus on 5 centers, the Chinese focus on 3 dantians, and Carlos Castaneda, for instance, describes the assemblage point in our luminous egg, or our aura, from where we assemble our reality, combining a selection of threads of light that connect all things in the universe. So chakras are called wheels of light, and are portals that give and receive energy on different levels of reality and different dimensions or densities. I'm wondering, if you give 7 chakra hugs, the best hugs are 7 chakra hugs. We want to integrate all the 7 chakras and not focus on only the higher chakras like some spiritual traditions. Our life force and prana has to flow freely and with full strength in all 7 chakras. The Chinese describe 12 major energy lines or meridians, and the yogis talk about 72,000 nadis. For complete self-mastery, your entire body and energy field needs to be integrated. Our spiritual tradition often only emphasizes the higher chakras, the head and the heart, but the strength of your lower chakras are as important to provide a vitality and health and comfort and a well-rooted embodiment for your earthly experience. We experience the different dimensions or densities of life through our chakras. From the physical body and the most subtle mind and spirit, our chakras are like transformers that allows energy to step up or step down from spirit to matter and from matter to spirit. They're also like computers that have programs and data or information, our stories, our beliefs and memories, and our interpretation of those memories are all stored in the chakras and give access to different dimensions or different ways that we connect with the world around us. So this is just a short introduction to the work of managing your energy or managing your life force, and especially the role of the heart center and the power of self-love to call back your power and activate your potential. It's simple, really. You clear the nadis, 72,000 nadis, not a problem. And these are the energy pathways. So our natural state is the illumined state. And so once we clear our energy pathways, we are in a natural state, our illumined state. The ever-increasing luminosity that comes from the curiosity of the mind and the intelligence of the body and of nature. Somatic body workers, healers, shamans of all kinds can assist and facilitate in the clearing of energy blocks and retrieving and reigniting your soul and spirit. But there is no substitute for the real and lasting results of showing up and doing the work yourself. Your yoga, your sadhana, your meditation or prayers, your invocations, know thyself and heal thyself is the path. So self-mastery is about personal growth, expansion and progression on the path of the soul, but also about regaining lost power. So we lose power in the contracts and agreements we make during our social conditioning, during our upbringing, and we can call back our power by exploring the relationships with our parents and our friends, partners and lovers, and our children, our bosses and governments. So we can see where we lose power or where we give our power away in those relationships. Self-mastery also comes through self-love and the activation of the heart center. So the heart is the central point of the energy body and mediates between all the other centers. It is the meeting place of heaven and earth. The heart sends more signals to the brain than it receives from the brain. The heart's magnetic field is about 60 times greater than the brain's and can be measured by sensitive equipment several feet away from the body. So the heart is really powerful and really influences our world, because if we see that the heart is resonating around us, it definitely also influences the world and experience of the world. So self-mastery can be defined as the ability to determine and create your own mental and emotional states, our ability to overcome our fears and master our desires and embody life's purpose. Self-mastery comes through realizing your true nature and the full potential of the human being, which is sometimes called Buddha nature or Buddha mind or Christ consciousness or enlightenment. Self-mastery is about self-knowledge, knowing the self and being yourself. There is nothing that you need to do other than just be you. So the real question is, who are you? What are you? What are you here for? Is there meaning and purpose to your life? What is self-nature? Heart and mind congruency is one of the keys to self-mastery and being able to create and manifest your dreams. Here's a simple exercise. Make a list of the things you do, but you know you shouldn't. And the things you do, the things you don't do, but you know you should. And make a list of the things you believe, but you know you shouldn't believe. And the things you don't believe, but you know you should. You've now made a list of all the ways that your heart and your mind are not congruent, not on the same page. And when the heart and the mind are congruent, when you think and feel the same thing, then the throat center opens and activates. Now, the throat center is the center of manifestation, of willpower, of creativity and expression. And when the heart and the mind are not congruent, the throat center is not aligned and not open, then we are dependent on the external, on props like coffee and tea, nicotine, drugs, sugar, like a relationship, like a job, money, prestige, reputation, all these things, the external things that we might rely on. But when the heart and the mind are congruent, you know that you have everything that you need within you. You know that you are enough. You're able to harness the forces of nature, of mind and emotion, of action, your natural resources that are in the palms of your hands, at your fingertips. You become a force of nature, a co-creator. Our work on the self behind the truth, our work on the self is finding the truth of what you are. And will also depend on uncovering the layers of illusion and the layers of conditioning or the layers of agreement and compromises that you've made, the layers of mistaken identity that you've assumed. From the moment you are conceived, and even from the moment that you were just a twinkle in your father's eye, you are shaped by the forces of society, your tribe, your family and community, your neighborhood. The earth chakra or the Muladhara chakra, your root chakra, contains that forms the roots of your relationships to your home, to your livelihood, to your physical health, and your vitality. So examining and uprooting the toxic and dead roots that don't feed and nurture you is an essential part of this work. These are the expectations from your family and conditions that you agree to for acceptance in the tribe, like the acceptance of their gender politics, the role of a woman or the role of a man, or racial politics, and other beliefs that might prevent you from embodying self-mastery. Group and tribal identity might have played a much bigger role in survival in the past, but can prevent individual progression and expansion, and can contribute to oppression and injustice in the world. Our control dramas and self-esteem issues are deeply embedded in the second and third chakras. Our experience in toilet training, learning to control the bowels, and the power play and dynamics between the parents and the child can shape our control dramas with our partners and our own children later in life. And our experiences of being judged and shamed are all moments of loss of power. So we learn and develop ways to defend and protect our false or conditioned sense of self. Our sense of identity is shaped by those around us. To free yourself from the constraints of your upbringing is self-mastery. Who you really are cannot be harmed. To come to a realization of the indestructible core of consciousness, the jewel in the lotus, is the goal of our sadhana. Om Mani Padme Hum. So self-study, examining and exploring the subconscious mind and your personal and the collective shadow is not an optional choice in the journey of awareness, liberation, and empowerment. Examining your projections, your judgments, your triggers, your discomfort zones will enable you to harness the full power of your life force. In the shadow hide some aspects of your most essential nature. What we hide and keep secret, what is suppressed, what is denied and projected outside is not only our darkness, but also our light. Our superiority and inferiority complexes are both constructs and not real, and a hindrance to the truth of who you are. In the Gospel of Thomas, which was deleted from the Bible by the Catholic Church, it is said, if you bring forth what is within you, what you bring forth will save you. If you do not bring forth what is within you, what you do not bring forth will destroy you. Our shame and guilt and secrets, wounds, scars, our brokenness, our resentments, everything that we bury inside, what we don't share with others, needs to come out and be aired. We know that child abuse and gender-based violence continues and becomes a family or an institutional tradition that only survives in darkness, in silence, when nobody talks about it. So share your story. You and others will benefit. Release the shame. We see that happening all over the world now, the mastery of the narrative, taking back your power. There is nothing wrong with you that can't be fixed by what's right with you. Dealing with past trauma not only heals you, but empowers you. People with trauma are in a way richer than others and have more data, more information about life. So you can use all the experiences that you want to discard or throw away or forget as fuel for your personal growth. Like the good gardener that throws nothing away, but puts all the trash on the compost heap to decompose and create a rich fertilizer for new and abundant growth, turning an obstacle into a stepping stone. Jesus is the global icon for the heart chakra. Whether you believe in him as a historical or mythological figure, he enacted on the world stage the story of the opening of the heart center, a story of betrayal, of doubt, and then crucifixion and ascension. The cage around the heart that we construct to keep us safe from getting hurt, but also prevents the free flow of love and pleasure, can at times only be broken open through this betrayal, through a heartbreak or an abandonment, as Jesus was betrayed. We then enter into doubt, the Garden of Gethsemane experience. And we say, why me? We ask, why is this happening to me? And God, why have you forsaken me? We are then strung up on the cross of time and space, trapped in 3D. And eventually the heart expands and opens up only when we give up the need to know why things happen. And we can say, forgive them, they know not what they do. We realize that all people have a role to play in our lives. we begin to trust in a higher form of justice, a divine justice, and we leave behind the tribal justice of an eye for an eye, retribution and vengeance. We take back our power through forgiveness. Forgiveness is for you, it's not for them. You retain your discernment of what is good and what it isn't. And you don't condone others' bad behavior, but you release the toxicity from your body and your mind. You let go. So these are the final stages of the opening of the heart: compassion, forgiveness, and unconditional love. But the very first step we take when we say, what about me? Self-care, self-love, self-acceptance, and choosing the path of the heart, and finding out what is in alignment with your bliss, your pleasure, your freedom, happens when we say, what about me? How does this affect me? Is this in alignment with my heart or my truth? When we start our spiritual journey by saying, what about me? We might completely turn the whole world upside down as our family and partners and friends start calling us selfish, and we might get ostracized as we abandon the tribal agreements and we start walking the spiritual path or the path of the heart. Only when we master the path of the heart are we then able to return to the family and teach them and share with them the path of the heart. So self-care and self-love is about making sure that there is oil in your lamp, to use another Bible analogy. Only then can you be a light unto the world. The world teacher of the head center is the Buddha, the master of mind. Very simplistically, he said, all is an illusion, except what you make real. And what is behind the eyes shapes what's in front of the eyes. We say seeing is believing, but really believing is seeing. We only see what we believe in. So we must choose our thoughts and beliefs very carefully. We have to choose the thoughts and beliefs that resonate with our heart, the thoughts and beliefs that feel good. The mastery or the achievements attributed to the yogis or the rishis, to fly through the air, to shrink and expand your body's size, clairvoyance and psychic powers, bilocation, or in the text, to become irresistible to the opposite sex, are mere side effects of yoga and distractions on the path when they become the goal. The experience of the bliss body, the ecstatic nature of sheer existence, feeling lucky to be alive, is also just a return to childlike innocence, playfulness, freedom, and creativity, enjoying the simple pleasures of life, of chopping wood and carrying water, of eating when you're hungry and sleeping when you're tired. That is self-mastery. So when the heart and the mind are congruent, and thus the willpower is harnessed, the willpower of the throat chakra, and then divine will becomes your will, and then your will becomes divine will. And not only do you speak the truth, but what you speak becomes true. And then all things are made possible unto you. So once again, it's all in the heart. If your heart's not in it, don't bother. We are in a stage when we are very much influenced by the things around us. We might lose our ability to feel emotions the way we want to feel them. We might get distracted. Our minds might go crazy. We'd be really being challenged at the moment. And so to just be able to stay centered, stay in the heart, is really the message, I think, for the moment. To calm down, be present, be with yourself. And yeah, thank you very much. That's my share for today.
Thank you, Zendrik. That was fantastic, and that was so dense. I made some notes while you were speaking, and then I gave up because I'm just going to have to watch it again. It was fantastic, and I particularly like the practical exercise you suggested, and I really like what you said about becoming a force of nature. So thank you. That was really inspirational, and I look forward to looking through that again and looking out for bits that I missed. Thank you very, very much for sharing that. Our next speaker is Saitsu. And I will just introduce his topic and say that when the student is ready, the master appears. That's what came up for me. So being a student, being a teacher. Thank you very much, Saitsu.
Thanks, Liesel. Thank you. Yeah, before I begin, I want to just express an honoring and a bowing down to all the teachers of spirit that have been, and all those who are here, and all those to come, throughout all realms, past, present, and future. And also I bow to the students, all those who have ever been, all those who are here, and all those who will come. Hey. Yeah. Thank you to those who've made this space available. Thank you to those who are transmitting and sharing into this space. Thank you to those who are listening and receiving in this space. This topic kind of spoke to me because I've had an interesting path as a student on the path of being a human, I guess. Being a human in love and artistry. And this human beingness, it didn't come so easy. It seemed challenging. And I think a lot of you can relate to that. Like, what? I've got this body. I'm a monkey who uses tools. You know, it feels a bit weird at the best of times. And yet we need to figure it out. And so I set about seeking out teachers, those who could share, who could be fingers pointing at the moon, you know. And I think I was the worst student ever. I was terribly rebellious. I wouldn't listen. I would do my homework at the last minute. I would cheat and bribe and find some way to find a secret path, a secret back door. And so I've been blessed with students or those who I share with, who've offered a perfect reflection of this to me, and it's been wonderful. So you know, it's such a question mark now in the world. This thing of teacher, guru, guide, you know, we keep on trying to find different terms for it because it's not sitting easy. And there's been so much tearing down of the teacher, of authority in the modern era, and so much revelation of abuses of power of the teacher. But it seems to be a sign of the times, because this abuse of power of the teachers is matched by this kind of disrespect from the students. I'll just Google it, and I'll make a few notes, and then I'll start teaching it next week. It seems like the real jewels are not to be found on Google, though. You know, and it takes some time of walking the path before we realize that. Before we realize that the access to the wisdom comes through the gate of humility. And when we can really receive from the teacher with devotion, and then of course the opposite mistake gets made, and the teacher gets made into, the deity, the one who we can't do any wrong. And so the critical faculties get suspended. And then we discover that our teacher's a human and has their own issues. And then we tear them down, and now we're back in the cycle, right? This is this bardo that we seem to be in this time. Bardo is a term for a cycle of life. So this intimate exchange between teaching and studying, and I learned a phrase from this one, teach learning, and how the two are really inseparable, because in order to really teach, we have to meet the being that is in front of us. So we really have to receive them in order that we can share with them. And in receiving them, we change. And in order to really receive from someone, we have to show them ourselves. So we can't really separate the two in their entirety. So this is such a rich field to look at. And I just really, again, to honor those who step into the path of studies, of genuinely trying to receive, and those who dare to share or to hold space to help others in their growth. Yeah, it's also the time when we've discovered that maybe the best way to find, during the lockdown period and with lack of movement, that there's such a proliferation of teaching via this medium and studying via this medium. And so this exchange feels really important to come to grips with, to understand what it is. And so there are a few like little things which we can look at. And I think on the one side, the errors perhaps, on the one side with those who teach or transmit, there's been the abuse of power, which I've mentioned, which of course requires this real ability to self-reflect. And of course, the advantage of a lineage is that if you're teaching, you have a teacher who can make sure that you are teaching with the right spirit. But even then, sometimes the teacher's no longer in the body or something happens. So then it's good to have a community to reflect to you how you're doing when you start to step into the power, when you start to have people trusting you with their journey and with their process. And some of the most deeply rooted karmas or past energy knots which come up are those around power. And so, you can do work for many years and refine and refine and refine yourself. And then you step into power and you step into sharing and helping others, and you discover a whole new set of those issues. All the stuff you thought you'd worked through, it's like, now there's a whole new set, because now I'm in the seat of service and I'm moving from receiving to more transmitting. And the stuff which really served one as a student is actually counterproductive when you're sharing, when you're teaching, when you're holding space, although you're still a student, but now you're also holding space. And so that abuse of power is really huge. And I think the other one which comes strongly through, which I've seen, is this resistance to change. So now I've found the way. This is the path. This was my path. This is what I did. And then some person comes and it's their first week training, and they're like, oh, I think we should change it, and it should be like this and this. And you're like, hey, I've been doing this for 40 years. Just do it this way. And as much as often it is true that it's good for the student to be humble and to receive and to acknowledge the wisdom, there's often a kernel in that. And so as those who teach, to really also keep the cup somewhat empty and be available to continuously learning, taking that feedback loop and learning how to refine what we're sharing, what we need to present across. And then on the other side, we have the student, and for the student, it's really two things. It's the rebel who comes up, and so often the rebel is there to rebel for the sake of it. Let's just tear it all down, throw the baby out with the bathwater, because I know a better way. And sometimes that's just wanting to pee on the lamppost, wanting to be heard, wanting to be seen. And it's not to say that it isn't valuable to question the authority, but rebel on your knees, kneel down, and then from there, share. And then the other one is the disrespect. Just look it up on the internet. Just take the teachings and use them. Don't meet the energy exchange. Don't pay the sufficient amount. And these teachers, especially teachers of spirit, have often been studying for decades, and yet they don't get paid that much compared to other people out in the world. And we're always asking for a discount, always trying to find it in some other way. And do we really show up for the exchange of energy, to acknowledge what we're receiving and all the wisdom and time that have gone into this transmission? And it's not necessarily having respect. It is having respect for that human, but it's also having respect to the gateway which is opening, through which we are receiving. And if we can't respect it, then why are we there? Why are we taking these teachings or these sharings? Yeah, so thank you, all of you, for allowing me a few minutes to share a little bit. And may you all be blessed. May all those who teach and learn be blessed. Because my ancestors greet your ancestors with joy. Base, this moment is the truth. And namaste. I recognize your Buddha nature. I'm done, Liesl. Gotta breathe.
Okay, good. Hi, everybody. Sorry, we seem to have hit a little bit of a technical glitch. So I'll just be standing in temporarily for Liesl. Thank you so much, Sai, for that beautiful share and the vast amount of wisdom that comes with the correlation and the connection between teacher and student, and how important it is for us to remain humble and to connect to both roles and both instances. So thank you so very much for that beautiful share. It was very heartfelt. Next up, we have Mike, who is going to be joining us and speaking about diving high and flying deep. Thank you, Mike.
Hello. Right. Hi. And yeah, thank you, Svenja. Thank you, Liesl, wherever you are now. I feel your presence, and it's great to really be in this space. And yeah, let me also just say thank you so much to Ras for contacting me about this and finding me in a deep and dark space. When you first sent me the request, I think I was quite grumpily offish and said thanks, but no thanks. Yeah, I'm doing my thing. And that night I had a dream and woke up with a pounding heart and a little bit of a sweat, which felt something like fear or excitement. I'm not sure what, but I knew then I should tell Ras that, well, I think I must rise to the challenge and show up. And that, for me, I think covers the essence and magic of what this medicine for these times means to me. I think it's a brilliant concept that's evolved, and thank you, Michelle, and everyone for that, because it does feel well and truly like at this moment that the medicine we all really need to take a good look at and dose of is our very own selves and each other, each and every one of us, with what we have to give and to share. So yeah, that got me thinking, what have I got to share? What is on my heart? And quite a lot, but I thought I'd narrow it down to something that possibly could be something new or a different perspective, because if I have something to share, I think it is the great gift and blessing I've received in my life of having had an enormous amount of diversity of experiences in all sorts of ways and places. So I think perspective helps us see things in a different way, and it certainly has for me. So the title's a title. I love making up titles. I don't really know what they mean, and they come and go. But yeah, that it's about my perspective as a helicopter pilot doing some interesting work that has spoken to me in some way in my path of seeking and my spiritual life, to the point that I guess I could say that a helicopter is probably one of my most profound teachers of life in this time, and one of my most consistent mentors in the practice of relationship, which has come to me to be the most powerful and changing way of walking a path of awakening. So yeah, let's dive right into helicopters then and try and get to something that's of relevance. And I really don't want this to be too dense and heavy and with too much of a point. It is quite light-hearted, and so just sit back, relax, and enjoy. I'm going to start reading something about what I do that has spoken to me in the past, and it says this: the thing is, helicopters are different from airplanes. An airplane, by its nature, wants to fly, and if not interfered with too strongly by unusual events or by a deliberately incompetent pilot, it will fly. Helicopter does not want to fly. It is maintained in the air by a variety of forces and controls working in opposition to each other, and if there is any disturbance in the delicate balance, the helicopter stops flying immediately and disastrously. There is no such thing as a gliding helicopter. This is why a helicopter pilot is so different a being from an airplane pilot, and why in general airplane pilots are open, clear-eyed, buoyant extroverts, and helicopter pilots are brooders, introspective anticipators of trouble. They know if anything bad has not happened, it is about to. So yeah, that's kind of a completely inaccurate description of helicopters and airplanes, and I'll get to why that is so. But in terms of the personality traits and character types of the respective pilots, while I really do see something of myself in there, but, and the big but is, that part of myself comes out, I've learned, and leads to all sorts of trouble for me when I am not attentive to and very vigilant, respectful, and devoted, dare I say, to some simple, hard truths about what it is that I'm doing and how I get to be there. So the Holy Grail for me in all of this is what they teach pilots when they learn to fly from the beginning, and make them even learn off by heart for some strange reason. Actually, not so strange, because it's a little bit like learning the Lord's Prayer off by heart in some way. But it goes like this: it's the lift equation. This is a little piece of science, dare I say, that is something we have to learn. And it says that the coefficient, that lift is equal to the coefficient of lift times the density times half the velocity squared times the wing area. Now, none of you need to even think or know what that means. But a penny dropped for me at some point when a lecturer on the psychology of flying spoke to us and suggested we all tattoo the lift formula onto our foreheads or something so that we'd never ever forget it. And his point was that, yeah, and the penny dropped for me in that the lift formula is an agreement, a contract, and a firm commitment that I make every single time I get into that machine and lift off and go into the air. It without having utmost faith, unending respect for, and an unwavering deviation from the belief in the three-dimensional facts, truth, and reality of what that is, I know that I am in for deep trouble. And us fleshy mammals, when we disregard the lift formula, tend to collide with Mother Earth in some fairly disastrous and spectacular ways. So without actually explicitly saying that, every single time I go flying, I know that in some way I've made a deep vow to my beloved at home. I've made that vow to my children, to myself, to my employers, to everyone, that I won't doubt for a minute the three-dimensional reality that I'm operating in, that the sole reason that I can get back on the ground at the end of a day's work is because I've in some way offered myself in truth and service to the three dimensions I'm in, and I'm not going to laugh at, test, or question the lift formula. Yes, we do actually test it, prove it, and play with it a little in our training by putting an aircraft into a stall or watching a helicopter's blades stall when you go a little too fast, and we go, oops, yes, there we're seeing something that is perhaps turning the aerodynamics of this beautiful craft into looking something more like that of a grand piano. So yeah, it's real, and it gets our heart beating and adrenaline pumping. So for sure, a helicopter is a great teacher. It keeps me very focused and very grounded on this here now, what is right around us. So I really firmly relate and can identify with that part of all of us that wants to seek, that looks for altered states, other realities, finding contact and conversation with the supernatural, because for sure this is a supernatural world we live in, but we've got to start somewhere. So it is in the natural that I've found the foundation for my spiritual practice. I think this community is loosely constellated around some resonance with the teachings of the Red Road, where fundamental to that is a respect and an acknowledgement of seven directions, four of them cardinal. And we have all sorts of deep and profound understandings of quite esoteric and supernatural connections to that, and energies, beings, and things that relate to that. But I wonder now, from where I sit, that if those were not made fundamental in those days for the very simple reason that those honoring those four directions helped us understand in a very literal way and sense where we are. We're not lost if we know where north, south, east, and west is, and extend that to know what is north of us, etc., etc., etc. So I guess my message and my experience of spending a lot of time in the air and paying attention to very three-dimensional realities that can bite us if we don't, has reminded me that that's the foundation of anything. We can't go too far anyway if we start slipping away from our attention to that, which is another absolutely wonderful gift that aviation gives pilots, and in a conscious or subconscious way, it's something that gets drummed into us and repeatedly hauled out again in every test flight we do. There is one column where the instructor or examiner ticks something to do with this phrase called situational awareness. Situational awareness for me is paying attention, and the number of magnificent instructors I've seen and flown with that have shown me the capacity for awareness, situational awareness is vast, but it requires a true presence. You can't be not here and be aware and attentive. So for me, situational awareness and paying attention are just another way of talking about love. Love is, to me, nothing more than being present and paying attention to what is right here, right now. So that kind of, that brings me to the topic of love in and awareness and attention and spirituality. Because if we, for me, most spiritual paths tend to focus on either mindfulness, meditation, presence, or devotional, heart-centered. And they often embrace both, but tend to focus on one or another. For me, being in relationship and flying helicopters, which is for me a relationship, requires an extremely difficult yoga or practice of paying a lot of attention to both. So, I don't know, let me give you an example about how I see that. A pre-flight of my helicopter before I go and fly is two things. So first, a disclaimer to anybody who's going to examine me in the future, please note that I'm paying attention to what needs to be passed in the test, and that's the mindfulness. So in my pre-flight, I'm very specifically looking at items with mindfulness to check that they are okay. But there's another side to this whole thing, which is that pre-flight is a ritual, is a ceremony of devotion for me, where I calm my own self and offer my heart to the space, to the time, to the task at hand, to this being, this metal composite being in front of me that has consciousness, for sure, and speaks to me. So I need to honor it by paying attention to it. And dare I say it, a pre-flight is a form of foreplay. It's a form of being really attentive to and present with another with love, to feel into the space between each other, to listen to those gaps in between, to find out what it is that there is here in this moment that wants presence, wants attention. So, okay, here I'll dispense, thought I would not, just maybe a little bit of a tip or advice, I guess, to all those pilots and engineers out there. I think many of you would do well to treat your beloveds and partners with a little more of the attention and presence and awareness that you do when you're going around your machines in the morning. And to all of you tantrikas out there and wonderful people who've paid a lot of attention to relationship and love with another, maybe pay the similar kind of attention, give the similar kind of presence to the three-dimensional world around you, to what is happening, to your car, to the tarmac, to everything that is happening around you. Be situationally aware with love and attentiveness that starts to invite more of a deeper conversation, shall we say. So yeah, I think that's for me, it's those two things that need to go hand in hand. What I've noticed in the more recent work that I've done in the last few years in working on fires, the helicopter, which is a fairly demanding environment. There are things coming at you from three-dimensional reality that are quite rapid, fast, and challenging. They're making you think on your feet very, very quick. There's a tendency when that happens to close and narrow somewhat, and the information starts getting less and less. You're unable to take it in. Too much is happening too fast. So we have the jargon we use in flying is often quite strikes me as being quite spiritual. We often say when things are happening fast, we haven't flown in a long time, we take a while to catch up with the aircraft. It's going ahead of us. We're not there yet. We're not present. We're not able to be present with all that is going on. A pretty dangerous situation. So we strive not to be behind the drag curve and really present. What I've noticed and how that applies to life in general is that I think in these times, three-dimensional reality for everyone is starting to get a little bit busy, and like being in the cockpit of a helicopter on a busy fire in poor conditions. There is so much happening that we're starting to notice less and less and less of what is actually right here in front of us. We're starting to question and doubt everything about what is happening here, and striving for and reaching to the unseen and realms and energies that for sure we'd like to know about and connect with and find solace in or direction, but really are incapable of anchoring that if we're not yet in touch. I can't listen to what the subtle whispers of my helicopter or notice the behavior at an energetic level of a fire if I don't know what the oil pressure is doing, if I don't know what torque setting I use to get water out of the dam on my last lift. I need to be present before that stuff can actually come to me. So that, I guess, is the main point of what I wanted to share today. And so having said that, let's just carry on with a few stories that might illustrate that, to show that when that is happening, when I felt like I'm actually there in the cockpit, present and aware, and can tell you what's going on in very real terms. I'm then also had some experiences and views on these things that warm my heart and connect me to spirit in the most wonderful of ways. The one is a story about a trip that I did to Ethiopia, and where we were doing the most magnificent job of capturing and filming the last piece of the wilderness there that was intact and had not been kind of chopped and turned into agriculture. Teeny corner of the country between between Kenya and Uganda and Ethiopia, where there's an annual migration of 1 million white-eared cob, which, by the way, is not a fish but antelope type thing, a little bigger than impala. Anyway, cut long story short, we were there to make a huge effort to convince the Ethiopian government, sponsored by the British government, to protect us and save us. So we spent some time filming, and then the big day came when we were supposed to now take the dignitaries of the government and the British High Commissioner and everybody to show them what was worth preserving and doing this. Well, day and a half, 2 days before that, something happened. The temperature was very, very, very hot outside, and I started that helicopter, which is like lighting a sacred fire, and you have to do it in a very specific way. And I kind of, anyway, all the reasons aside, what happened is that temperature rose a little too quickly for my liking. I didn't catch it in time, and it reached 927 degrees. The book tells me that I am allowed to go to 825 to 927 for 5 seconds. Then I can go to 927 for 1 second. Then that helicopter has to be grounded and the engineers have to be called in. They must open it up and tell me if there's anything left of the engine. I have cooked it, so they say. Now, in this helicopter, not all of them had it, but after they realized the dilemma, some pilots or helicopter little light that came on that would identify the problem and say, sorry, chap, you have reached 927 degrees. The engine is cooked. You can't go any further. This light isn't going to go out till you phone the engineers, tell them the problem, and move on. Now, I knew for a fact from my experience that I had just touched that 927 degrees for less than a second. So I felt kind of within the limits, but the light was on. I was in Ethiopia, so far away from any engineer who was in Johannesburg, and I had a tough dilemma. I know how to switch that light off and make the problem go away, but it's not the right thing to do. I knew it was going to be chaos, and I might even sabotage this entire trip and mission by this mistake I'd made. I was beside myself, but forced myself to phone the engineer, who I knew was a grumpy chap. He swore at me from such a distance I had to hold the phone away. He told me I would never get paid for the job, and now I'd ruined everything, and they had to send someone from Johannesburg to come and sort the problem out. I reminded him that I could have turned it off when I was just actually telling him the truth, and that, well, I'm sorry, that's how it was. What am I supposed to do? They sent an engineer out, and he opened up the can. When he did, his eyes dropped, his jaw dropped, and he said, "Oh my goodness, what you did nothing. There's no evidence of any damage from what you've done. But this helicopter has, from corrosion, so many cracks in the blades that I'm pretty sure that within the next hour of flying, this turbine would have faulted and you would have plummeted into the ground over those swamps with all those VIPs on board, and it would not have been a very happy day." It was a moment of, I felt so deeply relieved and grateful to that helicopter, to my relationship with it, and felt that it had constellated this whole scenario, had put me in this interesting moral dilemma with a very clear intention and reason, actually, to save my life. So, wow, thank you to that helicopter in that time.
Mike?
Yes.
Mike, I have to interrupt you, and we need to move on to the next.
That's the end of it. I could tell them any more, but thanks for listening, and thanks for being with me on this magnificent opportunity to share a little bit of myself. Thank you.
Amanzi makosazan, amanzi. Amanzi makosazan, amanzi. Amanzi makosazan, cela amanzi bo, amanzi makosazan, amanzi makosazan, amanzi makosazan, amanzi. Mazisakazi amanzi makosazan, amanzi. Mazisakazi amanzi makosazan, amanzi. Amanzi makosazan, cela amanzi bo, amanzi makosazan. Cela amanzi bo, amanzi makosazan, amanzi. Mazisakazi amanzi. Ani kuni shayuani, ani kuni shayuani, awawa bikana shaina, awawa bikana shaina. Eya uni bisini, eya uni bisini, ani kuni shayuani, yo ani kuni shayuani, awawa bikana shaina, awawa bikana shaina. Eya uni bisini, eya uni bisini, eya uni bisini, eya uni bisini. Olhando para o tempo e começou a chamar. Olhando para o tempo e começou a chamar, chamar os pajezinhos da floresta encantada, chamar os pajezinhos da floresta encantada. Na floresta encantada temos mamãe e papai. Na floresta encantada temos mamãe e papai. O chamote tepewa que o guia da pai. O chamote tepewa que o guia da pai. Wahoo, wehey. Wahoo, na floresta encantada temos mamãe e papai. Na floresta encantada temos sereno divino. E o chamo de buia grande, ele nos ensino. E o chamo de buia grande, ele nos ensino. Ahô, ué, ahô, ué, da tradição, da origem, da origem. As medicinas curam sem parar. As medicinas curam sem parar. Escawata kayawe, escawata kayawe. Escawata kayawe, escawata kayawe, kayawe kiki, kayawe kiki, kayawe kiki, kayawe kiki. Kaya Waikiki, Kaya Waikiki, Kaya Waikiki, Kaya Waikiki. Ouch. Blessings, beautiful people. My nail broke. That's what happened. I was getting caught in my string. Time to go filing.
Thank you. As always, I'm left moved by your music, and I was moving with your music. Thank you so much, and I'm looking forward to the next installment a bit later. Our next speaker is Chantal van Outeniqua, also known as Shanti Bluebird. And she will share with us the wisdom of the 13 original clan mothers. And this mystery will unfold as we listen to her. Thank you very much.
Thank you very, very much for this opportunity and for this co-creation and networking and creating medicine together and sharing medicine together. So I hope that everyone can hear me well. I'm sure you can. Thank you. Okay. So in this journey, I'm going to also invite you to just connect with your breath. Take the fullest in breaths and fullest out breaths and just enjoy your breath. Giving thanks to Swenyo, great mystery. Giving thanks to all my relations. And giving thanks to this present moment. Mother of nature talks with her kin. Stone person, wildflower, wolf are her friend. Weaving the rhythms of the season. She rides the winds of change. Guardian of the needs of the earth. Making relatives great and small. Mother, I see you in the dewdrop. I hear you in the eagle's call. I hear you in the eagle's call. Greetings, dear brothers and sisters. My name is Chantal van Outeniqua, also known as Shanti Bluebird. My sharing today is in reverence of the 13 original clan mothers. The 13 original clan mothers' wisdoms and teachings come through the mythological storytelling based on the beliefs of the First Nations of North America. This mythology may be seen as historic, and it is seen as such by myself and by those that revere these teachings. Whether the facts can be proved or not is not of relevance. It is rather an invite to flesh out the story that you and I are uncovering. The missing pieces can now only be found through the old stories and our self-gnosis. Fragments of the story of the 13 original Clan Mothers lived in many tribes of North America. But it was two Kiowa sisters, Cece Laughing Crow and Bertha Broken Bow, who held the entire collection of stories as one whole. And it was Jamie Sams who became apprentice to them at the age of 20. And they were said to be at the age of 120 when they gave her these teachings. So Cece Laughing Crow and Bertha Broken Bow passed on to Jamie Sams, who then wrote the book, The 13 Original Clan Mothers. According to the book, there came a time when the harmony and balance of earth was gold was taken from the earth, and slowly Earth Mother could no longer maintain her balance as she traveled through the Sky Nation, slipping off her path. This warrior, the gold that held her internal guidance system and revolving relationship around grandfather-son, was being removed by her human children. Climatic change started unfolding, bringing up fear and more greed. Food was no longer plentiful because the seasons began to evolve, making changes in the fruit-bearing cycles of the plant people. These changes brought great separation between creeds and races. And as I get and come to understand the story more and more, it can be seen as one of our oldest traumas that we carry. And the Earth Mother was feeling deeply into this sorrow. Grandmother Moon spoke to her daughter the Earth, reminding her of her motherly wisdom and medicine, and together they recognized the 13 wholesome aspects of the feminine. And the 13 original Clan Mothers were spun by the silver threads of Grandmother Moon from out of the dream time into the manifested world to walk the earth. Together, these 13 original Clan Mothers represent the medicine of Earth Mother, and each full moon, one of the aspects of the feminine healing potential opens up. And so it is that many moons ago, the 13 original Clan Mothers lived on Earth as embodied women. They were not born, rather they were weaved into fully grown female bodies. And they did not grow old or die. Rather, they lived for many human lifetimes until they themselves fully embodied the medicine of their names and was able to plant the seed of this medicine in the human family's heart, back through the golden crack in the universe into the eternal flame of love. The 13 original Clan Mothers is connected to the 13 moon cycle, and they spiral through the seasons of the sun. The 13 original Clan Mothers follow one after the other in an ever circular, spiraling nature. Their names are Talks of Relations, Wisdom Keeper, Weighs the Truth, Looks Far Woman, Listening Woman, Storyteller, Loves All Things, She Who Heals, Setting Sun Woman, Weaves the Web, Walks Tall Woman, Gives Praise, and Becomes Her Vision. Talks of Relations, the Clan Mother of the first moon cycle, teaches us the unspoken language of all our relations. She is the mother of nature. Wisdom Keeper, Clan Mother of the second moon cycle. She is the keeper of the great remembering, the stone libraries that connect into the Akashic records. The bones are the stones of my body, the keeper of the 7 directions. Weighs the truth, the clamor of the third moon cycle, keeper of equality and guardian of justice. She activates our internal scale of weighing the truth. She awakens our respect of sacred points of view. Looks far, woman, clamor of the 4th moon cycle, the seer, the oracle, the dreamer, the prophet, the guardian of the golden crack in the universe. Listening woman, the clamor of the 5th moon cycle, the mother of Teowe, the stillness, the interpreter of messages from spirit world. Know thyself. Storykeeper, the clamor of the 6th moon cycle, the guardian of the medicine stories who teaches without pointing a finger, the Hyoka, the one that speaks the truth. Loves all things, the clamor of the 7th moon cycle, the mother of unconditional love and all acts of pleasure. She, the keeper of the sexual wisdoms. Love thyself. She who heals, clamor of the 8th moon cycle, keeper of the healing arts, singer of the birth and death song. Setting sun woman, the clamor of the 9th moon cycle, the keeper of tomorrow's dreams and goals, the guardian of the next 7 generations. Weaves the web, the clamor of the 10th moon cycle, the mother of creativity, the muse, the artist, the creatress, the destroyer and the creator. Walks tall woman, clamor of the 11th moon cycle, the guardian of leadership, an innovator of new pathways, the keeper of humility. Gives praise, the clamor of the 12th moon cycle, the mother of all acts of thanksgiving, the guardian of ceremony and keeper of magic. Becomes her vision, clamor of the 13th moon cycle, the guardian of transformation and of spirits. The 13 original clamors are not only women that lived a long time ago on earth. They are not only accessible in the words of a book, they are aspects of the self that longed to be found, like old bones, and nurture with the song of fleshing out. They are our gifts from Earth Mother and Grandmother Moon to become more of who we are meant to be, loving, caring, empathic children of Earth, co-creating in peace and love. The 13 original clamors assists in the prophecy of the whirling rainbow dream, when all creeds and races come together and create, share, and work in harmony for the greatest good of all. We have a rich legacy that is calling us to remember, celebrate, and serve. Walking a path with the 13 original clamors calls us into a path of integrity, authenticity, humility, and empathy. Grandmother, I honor you. Your waters are my blood, every day and every night. I give thanks for your love. Grandfather, I honor you. Your spirit is my guide. every day and every night. I give thanks for my life. Away, 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 away. Blessed be, wishing well, giving thanks, Ndanaho, Shanti.
Thank you so much, Auntie, for that beautiful share and for your voice and for sharing some of the beautiful wisdom and the cyclical knowledge that comes with it. Thank you, thank you. So beautiful. Apologies again for the technical glitch that Liesl is not with us. She seems to be dropping off. So I'm just standing in temporarily. Next up, we have Di van der Westhuizen, who is going to be sharing with us about Anahata Surya. Thank you so much, Di, for being here.
Just thank you so much for me being here. I thank you so much. It's so great to be part of this. And I greet all of you wonderful sacred beings that are part of this summit, that have come to join us, and the most amazing speakers that are here tonight and that have been part of the weeks that are past and the weeks that are to come as well. I just thank Pachamama with great, great love, and Taiti Inti, Father, Son, Grandfather, Son, and Great Spirit for this opportunity of sharing with all of you. And I just ask their blessing on all of us right now. Wow. What I'm going to share tonight is the what I call the Sonko Inti teachings, which is the same as Anahata Surya. It is the heart sun teaching. And this is very close to my journey at the moment, because so much has been shared with me recently. Exactly 20 years ago, I was in the Sacred Valley of Peru, on the slopes of Apu, or Mountain Shikong, where I met a shaman priest who told me a beautiful story. And the story has had a lot of impact on my life, and especially over the last couple of months. I want to share the story with you. Once upon a time, there was this tiny, small, gray-brown bird. It looked like a little finch. And this little finch had a heart's desire, a great heart desire, to fly close to Father Sun, to great Taiti Inti. And he watched the eagles, the condors, the Andean eagles, they're actually vultures, fly up in thermal close to the sun. And this tiny, teeny little bird devised a plan of how to fly closer to the sun. He decided that one morning, early, he would get up and fly quietly and alight on the condor's back before the condor took off at sunrise, to rise up and up and up to meet the wind thermal. high up in the sky. And this he did because he was so small and so insignificant. The condor didn't even notice that this little bird was on his back. And then the condor flapped its wings and flew up and up and up, and eventually reached its height. And the little bird was seen by the sun. The great-grandfather, wonderful sun, smiled down on this little bird. The little bird flapped its tiny wings and flew higher than the condor. And the sun was so delighted by this little creature, Pachamama, Mother Earth's little creation, that it flown on the condor's back so high to be closer to him. And the sun decided in this moment that he was going to bestow 3 gifts on this little bird. And smilingly he said to the little bird as it was flapping, looking up at his face, he said, "Little bird, I'm going to bless you with 3 things. The first one is that I'm going to give you all the delightful colors that I can think of that are in my rays. The colors of the rainbow are going to cloak your feathers forevermore. That is going to be my first gift to you. My second gift to you is that your little beak that is so small is going to grow into a sipping beak that is going to sip the nectar of all the flowers. You are no longer going to eat little seeds, grass seeds, and you're no longer going to eat little worms. You are going to sip the nectar of all Mother Earth's beautiful flowers. You're going to delight in their colors as you move from flower to flower. And then the third gift I'm going to give you is the ability to fly up and down vertically. No birds fly vertically. And I'm going to give you this gift, and also at the same time, I'm going to give you special wings to be able to do this. Vroom, vroom, vroom. Like the Jedi lancers in Star Wars, the noise that the little bird is going to have as it flies up and down, to be like that. This little bird was going to be called the hummingbird. Now, interesting, the noise that it makes when it flies is this humming noise. So this little bird also got a new name, Hummingbird. And the shaman looked at me then in my eyes and he said, Kuichi Maste, that's my name, Rainbow Crown. He said to me, this applies to humanity. The 3 gifts that Great Sun, Great Inti, Taiti Inti gave the little bird are going to be the same gifts that Father Sun gives humanity. And the name Hum is the same as human being. Starts the same 3 letters. The ancient name for sun, the Celtic name, also the South American and American, Central American name is Ahua or Hu, which is the name of the sun. And we have that in our species name, and so does the hummingbird. Well, he said to me then, what do you think are these 3 gifts? And I looked at him and he smiled at me, this wonderful shaman priest. His eyes crinkled and he said, you have the gift already in your energy field. Your energy centers, which we call chakras, that's Peruvians don't call them, Andean people don't call them chakras. They have colors, and they are the colors of the rainbow. And as you connect with me with your eyes, you are sipping rays, which are conduits of energy that come into you and light up all your endocrine system and grow it, grow the light, grow the rainbow of. And as you grow, you become stronger, you become lighter, you become filled with light. That is the first gift. The second gift, the sipping of the nectar. You have the ability with your energy field. Each one of these chakras has a conduit that goes out, that can sip nectar, refined energy, which the Indians speak of as Sami. Sami energy is refined energy. It's higher frequency energy that we can bring into our bodies. And we receive this from nature. All around us, we have these beautiful, beautiful flowers, these beautiful plants, beautiful rocks and stones, and beautiful mountains. And in these lovely, beautiful natural areas, we can sip the Sami. And this grows our energy field as well, and also gives us great joy. As the little hummingbird sips the plants, they say he's filled with joy. And we are also filled with joy when we are in nature. Our spirits become light and we feel like dancing. And that is a most magnificent gift, especially now, where a lot of people are bound indoors. We need to go to the window and see the sun. We need to look out and see the plants and realize that everything around us in nature is giving us energy, and everything has absorbed energy from the sun. The sun is our primary energy source. If we eat vegetables, that is a secondary energy source. And so on. Animals eat plants. And breatharians eat sunlight. And I've learned to do this as well. It's so beautiful to eat the sunlight, to absorb the sunlight through my eyes every day. The third gift, the shaman didn't say anything about further. And I've always wondered about this. What is this whirring up and down that we can do? What is this gift that we have as humans from the sun? And I discovered about 6 weeks ago what it is. I'd been walking every day of this lockdown period. I go out and walk about 5 kilometers under the sun. And I've been asking the sun, my father, for teaching. And I've received very beautiful teachings in this time, which I can't share with you now, of course. But the teaching of the vertical flying, the raising of frequency that we can have instantly, like the little bird flies up and down, we can raise our frequency instantly. And we need to do this in this time because the heavy collective field brings us down very, very easily. And if you're sensitive to energy as I am, often I wake up feeling quite distressed, feeling very sad for humanity. So I go out and I connect with the sun, and instantly my energy is risen. And the sun taught me about my assemblage point. I'd read about the assemblage point years back in Carlos Castanedas's books. And I had worked with it in teaching also many years ago. And what the download is that we can grow our assemblage point. We can move our assemblage point like wings. We can have energy wings that grow from our hearts out to the palms of our hands. But we have to do this very carefully. Grow it slowly, first left-hand side, which is our feminine side, our side of compassion, our side of caring, our side of nurturing. We have to develop this as humanity. And automatically the power side, the personal power side, which is your masculine side, grows with it. And I discovered this by doing this growing exercise. And I found myself becoming lighter and lighter and being able to change my awareness instantly, like the little hummingbird flying up and down. I haven't finished growing my wings. And you'll see there's a painting behind me here that I did 11 years ago in 2009, where I actually painted these energy wings. And I'd clean forgotten about this painting. I'd pack it away in my studio behind a lot of other paintings. And I took it out. And this is it. The Homo Luciferiensis, the being of light, the new humanity, the new human being, where our species is going. If we connect with the sun, in love and caring and compassion, our personal power will grow, and we will grow into beings of true light. Every day, I open my heart to the sun. I use a triangle over my heart to start off with. This is how the shaman taught us. Put a triangle over your heart. I don't know if you can see me. I just want to put it there. Triangle over my heart, and then you take it up to the sun, and you look through the triangle at the sun. And the rays just pour into your being. And what the shaman taught us to say was, Kanchemi Kani Runa Kanapach, which means, may my light go to humanity, go out, radiate to humanity. You say that 3 times. Then you say, Kanchemi Kani Ke Epapach. Kanchemi Kani Ke Epapach means, may my light shine on the land, shine on Mother Earth. And I thank in gratitude the land I live on, the soil I walk on, Mother Earth in the valley where I stay, the beautiful mountains that are around. I acknowledge them. I acknowledge this beautiful planet in all her diversity every morning. And then the third thing we were taught to say is, Kanchemi Kani Weke Panai Kanapach, which means, may my light radiate and shine on all my brothers and sisters in creation. The 4-legged ones, the winged ones, all the beautiful, beautiful microbes that fill everything. That my body is full of them, and so is yours, and every creature on this planet is filled with microbes, and we acknowledge them because they are the creators of our world. And we acknowledge from the tiniest plant, the tiniest cellular being, to the greatest tree. And this gratitude prayer every morning, this just beingness within nature, just thrills our being. And this is what it's all about, people. I just bless you. And I just thank you for this opportunity of sharing with me the simple teaching. Go well and connect with the sun. Bye now.
Thank you so very much, Di, for that beautiful share. I don't know whether we have Liesel back. It looks like we possibly have her back. Yay! I'm going to pass back on over to Liesel.
Thank you, everyone. Sure, what a wonderful opportunity to be present, and what it might call it, situational awareness. Whew. Thank you for your patience. It gives me great chills and thrills to welcome our next speaker, Lahala Maria. She is a mentor and a guide, and I have learned from her so much, and I'm privileged to call you my friend, La. Thank you very much for everything you have taught me, and thank you for always asking such wonderful golden questions. I would like to give you an opportunity to share with us your talk called Opening Voice.
Wow. Thank you, Liesel, and everybody who's come before and everybody who shall follow me as well. Great Spirit, Holy Mother, Father, God, Goddess, all that is within, within, within. I am child divine, Makos. Give thanks. I'm calling for blessings of peace and wisdom, for grace and joy to enter into this space now as we together open voice. Inside with the reflection, I am, we are together. Makosi. I'm calling to the high mountains and the high mountain crystals. We call to the waters, salty and sweet. We call to the star nations that roar your thunder within, 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 every moment infinitely expanding. And invite and stand strong and true inside with love unconditional. For equality that flows with freedom, and freedom that is born from equality, to rise inside this now moment grounded in the infinite now. I'm inviting my inner child to come and sit with me now as I shake and open voice. Hallelujah. Amen. Makosi. Shoo. Whew, wow. I've had such a big buildup of energy in my body coming to this moment now. This journey of opening voice is one that belongs to each and every one of us equally. It is our birthright and our calling to come to the place of knowing true self, to do this adventure and walk on this path with courage and extreme gentleness. Golly goodness gracious me, it takes a lot of courage to open voice, and it takes a lot of gentleness in the process of doing this thing myself, which truly feels like it's only just beginning to land. Although I've been walking on this path for a long time and so many voices move through this body I am. This vehicle is an open hollow bone. The one that is me is emerging now, free. And it is a journey to come to that place. In this journey, I can say with authenticity and honesty I have, and I am bound to say that you too will have the experience of meeting all the parts of yourself that you didn't know existed. The good, the bad, and the ugly, and the terrible. Those parts that are hiding away. Those parts that are so bright that coming anywhere close to them and having any significance whatsoever brings us to our knees. Even more, down onto the ground flat, like a pancake, like a puddle, actually. And when I'm in that place, and I'm a puddle, and the sun and the many suns are reflecting in my waters, and the mountains are reflecting in my waters, and I don't even know who I am anymore, then I start to feel in the deep, deep, dark part of that puddle an awakening. My little girl, she looks in the puddle and she can see her own face, and it's new. It's always new. The sky changes. The storms come through, the wind blows ripples across, and I can't see myself any longer. And still deep down in that puddle, there is a voice. So to come to that place, I must grow roots. Inside with the sky, I'm a woman. I must root deeply inside with the Father, in that I can feel safe and held. I am a woman. I must root deeply inside with my mother. I am her sister. I am mother. I am a child. Inside with divinity, I am. To open voice is a privilege of being human. It is a privilege of being alive, of being now, of being present. It takes practice. It's not easy to come inside with love that is unconditional, especially for me. Me. And so too, part of this process is the honoring of word and the honoring of the rising of word from the blank page. I am, we are, all that is together, infinitely, in nothingness, in emptiness, in the arising, in meeting the arising, which is ever changing, which cannot be preconceived of. Even as I meet myself, I meet my voice. Even as I meet myself reflected in all that is, I meet my voice. And so again, I bow, standing on my feet with my head in the sky, sitting well and flowingly in the place between my hips. I drop down my tailbone so that my ancestors can be together with me. For me, this is like a ladder, and it brings to me stability. Inside with the Holy Trinity, the divinity I am, within, 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 all of creation, I am together. In Lakesh, all of these words ring true. And so to find the true meaning, I am on this journey of becoming me. It is, I've discovered, a whole different ball game to speak the voice I am uniquely. When there are so many voices that flow through and are freely available in every moment of being, when we listen, we can allow them to speak. And so I've got choice, and this I've discovered. I have the choice to open voice and allow myself in this vehicle to be of service, not only to the reflection, but also to the within that wants to be heard. All of these voices, I can call them myself, because we are truly one beingness in presence of the divinity, all that is, I am, we are together, inside with freedom, inside with equality. Even the voice of the ant is equal to mine, is equal to me. So unpacking some words now. I've been saying the word me and mine, and I feel that it is a good thing to unpack a little bit, because I want you to know that where I'm sitting is inside with divinity, which is the same place that you are sitting. And so I give this word to you because it is yours too. This sound, and I get these sounds from the Tibetan rainbow meditation, which speaks to the rainbow frequencies of love, light, power, and peace that resonate inside with all of creation. And that is also what we are, rainbow beings. And I get it also with gratitude to all those who have walked before me in my life, and giving me blessings of teachings and opened the way for me. When I see the sound and feel the sound in my being, it expands infinitely in all directions. A double gate I am, space for the masculine and feminine to walk hand in hand together equally, with room space, head space, and also boundaries, because it's good to have a bounded path, then we don't get lost so easily. Sometimes when we step over the lines of our own unique path, we can get terribly lost, so it is good to find those boundaries. E, the line with the dot. Coming from the place of mind that speaks to matter, all of creation, that speaks to meeting the two that is one inside the divinity I am. The sound rises like the fire and connects my central point and the central point of every part, every cell of my body. Yours too, if you are working with the sound, and depending on where I place it. But now I'm speaking for myself. It rises to connect me with my divine blueprint, with that unique intelligence that exists in this reflection that you're receiving right now. All of these words, they're stories. We are not to get attached to them. Let them flow like water. Be your roots strong and deep. Be them grounded inside with the sky. So now inside with mind and matter and meeting of the reality and the truthful reflection I am, uniquely in this moment, infinitely expanded. This comes together with the meeting of wind, spirit, breath. Inside with the palate of the mouth, there are different points. This is like a supercomputer control panel. When we touch the tip of our tongues or different parts of our tongues to different places in the palate of the mouth, then the front channel that moves down as the back one flows up in this process of breathing like a tree from above and below within I am. The front channel is bridged across the cavity of this voice box, this blessing that we have been given, and through which we can shape the geometries of creation and as we speak the word. So this sound, according to the Tibetan rainbow meditation, is blessed in the base chakra, and it moves infinitely in all four directions from this center point. X marks the spot. Here where I am. This is mine voice that I am opening with choice to the flow of love unconditional in which I am in practice with inwardly and outwardly reflected. It's a lot. It's a lot. I've discovered in my own journey that without having my child close to me, without listening to her, and also the him that is my child, without listening to this divinity, this divine wisdom, and bringing it together, holding hands, it is not possible. It was not possible. It has not been possible for me to open the voice I am uniquely. Not possible. So, in this process of opening voice, if I can give some advice. I agree. Breathing sunlight every day is a very good idea. I do this too in a slightly different way. Inside with the light of the sun and the many suns, there lives the coding for this now moment for growing. to receive the blessings that are coming from the reality, from the universe, this divine mother, father experience that we are the child within. So breathing sunlight is a good idea. As I said before, rooting and shooting, opening up the central channel so that we can be a walking tree, taking care of the rainbow within, keeping it bright and shiny, visiting with those places and getting to know them. And part of my practice now deeply is feeling with all of them. Not only this one, I have a very strong this one because of early childhood trauma. So I've discovered sometimes, like Hendrik said, Zendrik, he said it also true. Trauma is a gift. Trauma is a great gift. Let's not get dramatic about it or anything. Let's not get attached about it, but let us meet in that place and feel. And there are some really profound modalities that have been opening in the world of late, of these last years, even in through the psychology and the scientific research fields, where trauma is being seen as something very, very common. And the root of many, many insecurities, many, many building blocks that we utilize unconsciously, because that's the way it's always been. So now our process of opening voice has also got to do with taking apart, unraveling. The process of unraveling can look really messy. This is why I used the story that I did earlier of becoming a puddle. Sometimes it's like that, becoming a puddle for however long it takes until that place is found in the depths. Within all that is, I am, we are. Opening voice has got nothing to do with sounding good when we sing. It's got nothing to do with sounding good ever. But it is also about being good when we take that word. And don't get attached to the masculine when I say this, the word God. God is good. God is good. Good has got the infinity that is the joining of the masculine and the feminine with the child that results. I am. We are all that is. Within. So it is an allowing to give ourselves permission to be, to feel with every part that we possibly can feel with, to pour down the energies of mind, to pour it down our spines. I say, thank you, Dakini, for giving me that gift. To pour down our spines, the energy of mind, and let it land in our waters, let it land on the earth and rise in the fire so that we can feel in all the different parts of ourselves and be authentic to that feeling. This is a practice. It's a deep practice. To be aware of where I am, like Mike was saying, about the good red path that speaks so much about the 4 directions, not only that one. The study of the wheel is intergalactic, in fact. It is a multiple lifetime, very advanced study. Yeah. So we give thanks. Is there anything else? They're speaking one more time, and we say we give thanks to our ancestors as well. It is an important part to recognize where we have come from. The good, the bad, and the ugly once again. There are many things that rise through this voice that are not my own, not this unique one, but they are what I chose in order to refine this unique I am. So embracing this and engaging with your process of healing ancestors, healing inner child, early childhood trauma, coming together with grandmothers and grandfathers, divine feminine, divine masculine, and child. For me, this is a deep study that I think I'm going to be doing inside with this whole lifetime, We teach the things that we study, and through this we know ourselves better, because as my beloved said, the ones who come to learn with us, they're the ones that we learn from. Of course. So thank you. I also want to say thank you to Davide, because he brought to me the Tibetan rainbow meditation, and it is a key, a very resonant one, to unlock many of the wisdoms of word. Yeah, not to be played with. When you engage in the path of opening voice, you're going next level serious. Have fun with it. Don't get too serious. Enjoy, and many blessings. I give thanks to this space, community of spirit. It's been a real privilege and to be here and open my voice. Hallelujah.
Gone. Gone. I'm gone.
No, you're not. We can hear you. Yes, yes, yes.
La, thank you so very much for that beautiful share and for your wisdom that you bring and your voice that you bring. I've had the honor of being in ceremony with you, and your words touch me deeply. So thank you so very much for those reminders and for that wisdom. And next up, we will have some more beautiful songs and music from David Tomsu. Thank you, David.
Awe. I'm not sure why I'm not on the screen. There we go. Thank you. Thank you, Sister La. Yes, the voices that we channel, they open up different frequency belts within ourselves and the realm of creation. And I find that when I sing in foreign languages, I more tune into the spirit of things that I sing. I'm going to include one in English, which when I sing in English, it's really just a prayer for myself too. So there's another medley coming. It's kind of Amariri, English, and Huni Queen. You can hear me. Unkuruye kurumo machi yako ning ning ning. Anko karabaku eshaye ko ning ning ning. Ngai anko karama awe ko ning ning. Awiko mako ning ning. Unkuruye karamu ketaye ko ning ning. Ngai anko kalawaku ashaye ko ning ning. Ngai anko karama awe kone awiko makone iye anko tarama awe kone awiko makone. Ongo chiango tarawirongo ongo tarawakwaye chayongo ongo darababa yongo awiko makune iye anko tarama awe kone awiko makone. Nkuroye kuromo machi yako nini nkahi anko kalawaka yesho wako nini ngaye anko tarama awe kunini awiko mako. Hiyang ko karamo baka weko ning ning ning. Nga hiyang ke karamaku ashaye ko ning ning ning. Hiyang go tarama awe ko ning ning. Awi ko makuning. Hiyang go tarama awe kuning ning. Awi ko makuning. Sacred fire, hearts of the world, nameless one, our whole great mystery. Tree of life, ever ancient, ever new. In every breath, this presence is my food. Beauty before me, beauty behind me, beauty to my left and to my right. Beauty above and below us, beauty within and all around. Sacred Mother, song of all the land, Jema, our whole great mystery. I'm on my knees, Holy Mother, in this dance of life, listening, heartbeat in the night. So walk with me, talk with me, in valleys deep and mountains high, and at the ocean, from the deep we meet the ancient ones, waves are breaking. Our Putumaima, our Putumaima, Ruma Putumaima, Putumaima, Tanani, Ani, 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 Ani. Our Putumaima, Ruma Putumaima, Putumaima, Tanani, Ani, 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 Ani. Our kuna yaru makuna kuna yara tahana bai ne ni ani ani 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 ne ni ani ani. Our kuna yaru makuna kuna yara tahana bai ne ni ani ani ne ni ani ani ne ni ani ani ni ani ani ne ni ani ani. Ah, ni ane, ni ane, ni ane, ane, ni ane, ane. Yaw shama kuna ya, ruma shama kuna ya, kuku wana bai ne, ni ane, ane, 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 ni ane, ane. Awa shama kuna ya, ruma shama kuna ya, kuku wana bai ne, ni ane, ane, ni ane, ane, ni ane, ane, ni ane, ane. Ni ani ani. Awa bai shishama rab bai shishama bai shisharab ne ni ani ani 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 ni ani ani. Awa bai shishama ramu bai shishama bai shisharab ne ni ani ani ni ani ani ni ani ani ni ani ani ni ani ani. Ah, ni ane, ni ane, ni ane, ane, ni ane, ane. Ah, ni ane, ni ane, ni ane, ane, ni ane, ane. Ouch. Marcos, Taukoza, Skamagu. Thank you.
David, thank you. That was fantastic. Thank you, thank you, thank you for bringing that magical music to us and that rhythm. Oof, thank you very, very much. That brings us to our final sharer for the evening, Ra Nomvula. And when I was thinking about the people and the different elements, I was excited to see that Ra has been given the name of Mother of the Rains. by Credo Mutwa. Ra is a mother, an author, a dancer, a womb water medicine woman, a gatekeeper of the feminine mysteries of her tri-racial Bushman, Indian, Muslim, and Irish ancestry. What a wonderful blend of magic you are. And thank you for the medicine that you bring to the world. And I see that you continue sharing and teaching and healing the women and the young women of the world. So thank you very much, Ra. Please take it away. Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you so much for this invitation to participate this evening. I'm so touched that several speakers have spoken and mentioned the word rainbow. It really feels like the rainbow medicine is with us this evening. I give thanks for this moment, beloved divine source of all life, you who have so many names, Mother, Father, God. I give thanks for the moment here with all of my ancestry. Assalamu alaikum to my Muslim ancestors, Gangans, to those of my Bushman ancestry. Thank you all for joining. Thank you for the co-creators of this magical, mystical healing space. I pray that our healing ripples will continue to flow outward and continue to ripple throughout our lands and our communities and our countries. And I gift this ceremony into that pool and intention. For thousands of years, the womb was revered as the sacred portal of life, and so was the feminine, until the time of the great forgetting. We have now returned to remember our birthright, to remember and reclaim this primal consciousness that lives within us. Scientists that have studied forests now prove that in all forests there are mother trees, and that the mother trees carry a primal consciousness and wisdom that connect, that teaches all the other trees about this connection. Our wombs are the same. Within our wombs live a mother tree of primal consciousness. And it is into this deep wisdom that I invite each of you this evening to connect with. So I invite you to first take a deep breath, bringing your awareness into the breath. And make yourself as comfortable as you can possibly be. Some of you may wish to lie down. Please feel free to do this. And we'll connect first to this magical rainbow energy that have been spoken about and that we've been reminded of, that we are these rainbow people. So when you're ready, I'd like you to visualize a rainbow above our heads of this circle. and allow this rainbow to spread throughout the world where others are viewing and connecting with us. So that in essence, this rainbow is the canopy above us. And we thank this rainbow essence for being a part of this circle this evening. Take a few moments just to embrace and be in the essence of this rainbow medicine. And when you are ready, I'd like you to breathe in some of this rainbow energy through your center, down into your feet. And just holding your awareness in your feet now as we prepare to root ourselves. Invite the roots from your feet now to gently flow down deeper and deeper into the earth until it reaches this black, pearlescent, dark velvet space that we call the womb of the great Mother Earth. And just feel yourself welcomed into this space. Feel yourself received here. This is your place. And take a few deep breaths from this rooted, connected space now. And relax into it as much as possible. And when you are ready, I'd like you to breathe in some of this black velvet richness up through your feet into your womb space. And just allow this rich, loving essence of the Mother herself to arrive in your womb. Feel its warmth and feel her love. And if you wish, you're welcome to connect with your womb physically. Just touch her, connect with her, hold her a little bit. You're just letting her know that you can feel this vibration. You can send her a breath of gratitude for everything she is and for all the men joining us. Your womb space is called your hara. Just let your hara space know you're connecting with him. You're feeling him. You're grateful for him. In womb consciousness, we acknowledge that all our wombs are connected, like the entangled root systems of the trees in the forest. And so I invite you now, in this safe space, rooted to the earth, a rainbow fanning above us, to allow your womb space to connect with the other wombs in this circle, so that together we're forming a womb web. Oh, slowly, slowly, there's no rush. Just allow your womb to feel the connection with the others in the circle, wherever they may be. Remember to breathe. This is a safe, sacred space for all of us. Take a few deep breaths and relax into this knowing, into this sensation of connectedness. And when you are ready, I'd like you to take deep breaths of this rainbow essence from above you, breathing it in through your crown chakra and allowing it to flow down into your body, landing in your womb space. And feeling now how this container that we are creating, this web, is the color of rainbows. That we are bringing our rainbow ancestries, our rainbow essences together to give this shape. We thank all those from the mystical worlds and realms for joining us in support. And we thank all our ancestors, wherever they are from. I'd like to invite each one now to send this magical medicine of rainbow essence that we've now made, to send it to those in the world who need it. We send it into our poorer communities. We send it to those who are sick and suffering and COVID-19 positive. We send it to those isolated and alone. We send it to those violated. We send it to those who face hunger and starvation. As a rainbow web of wombs, we send our medicine out to those who need it. And we are each welcome to sip from this well ourselves. If you are in need, allow yourself to receive some of this medicine too. And remember to breathe. When I was first invited to be a part of the circle, there was a part of me that was very hesitant, because I wanted more of the representatives of the majority of people in the country to be represented. And so I was in the circle very silently moving with this story, the story of our people. And so on a personal level for me, I would love to send some of this rainbow medicine into those of Bushman ancestry in this town, in this province, in this country. on this continent. A great spell has been cast upon our people, marginalizing many of us. A spell that has resulted in violence and abuse and violations of all kinds of horrible manner. And so I pray that those who are under the spell may have the courage to break free. And I wish to speak the words that Baba Credo Mutwa spoke to me here in Cape Town some years ago that I had never heard before. I was saying, oh, I'm struggling to find my feet in this place because I'm so far from my people. And he said, you are not far from your people. Your people are buried in the land. You are the daughter of kings and queens. And I was completely stunned. I had never thought about it quite like this before. It was an absolutely magical sentence to hear. And it changed my consciousness around the wounding of some of my ancestors. And so I speak these words in our rainbow circle now. We, the people of color, are the descendants of kings and queens whose bones refuse to be buried, who wishes to be remembered. I send rainbow essence of love into these communities and these people who are under the spell and who have forgotten who we are. And I invite each of you to add, of course, your own prayers. May all our people remember who we are, so that they may take their rightful place in the circle of life. Please remember to breathe as you say and offer your prayers. We are the rainbow people. We are united through our wombs and hara in this ceremony. We are sharing this primal consciousness of holism that reminds us that we are one people. May this medicine continue to ripple throughout our country, into the hearts of those people who need to sip from this rich well. May this medicine we make together this evening bless all our people. And may each of us participating be blessed. And may our ancestors be blessed as well. When you are ready, I'd like you to begin to slowly bring your womb energy back to herself and your Hara energy back to himself. Slowly, slowly. And while you're doing this, we just send our gratitude to all the other wombs and Haras who were willing to weave this web together tonight. And connect with your womb again and with your Hara. Just feel her gently if your hands have moved away from her. Just thank him again for participating, for opening this wisdom, for sharing. And then when you're ready, you can begin to pull back the roots from your feet. And we send our breaths of gratitude to the Great Mother herself for allowing us to take root within her, for reminding us of our belonging. The canopy above us. We send our gratitude for your essence and your medicine. We thank you for reminding us that we are the people of the rainbow. And we release you now. And for all those from the mystical realms who have joined us, we thank you and we release you now. And for our ancestors who joined us, we bow our heads in gratitude to you. And we thank you. And we release you too. For those who are still journeying, I invite you to come back to yourself fully now, to wiggle your toes and your fingers, to open your eyes, to look around you if you need to. And to close with a prayer of gratitude for all that we were able to share, for all that moved between us, for what is possible when we remind ourselves of who we are. We are the rainbow people. We are one people. I thank you for this opportunity, for this gift to share and to be with all of you. I send you my gratitude and I send you my love. Thank you so much.
Ra, thank you. I am transported and transformed. Thank you for that sharing. Thank you for speaking poetry. Thank you for speaking prayer. Thank you for making me feel like a magical being that can work with the energy of the rainbow. Thank you, really. I'm deeply, deeply moved. There was a golden thread that ran through this experience tonight, and it was about opening your voice, finding your voice, using your voice, finding yourself, being a force of nature, working with the forces of nature, and all of that in love. I'm very, very grateful for everything that I've learned tonight on so many levels. Thank you for sharing your magic, your mystery, your gifts, and your medicine for these times. Have a good evening, and may we all put action to what we have learned and what we have heard. Thank you very much.